community-based nutrition for older persons, and our community development nutrition program, our CNDCs, which previously, I think others would know these as what was previously referred to as the soup kitchens. And we've then changed them from soup kitchens to be community development nutrition program, because we want to move beyond the cup of soup, but also to introduce developmental programs. I know others have sewing programs, but also to ensure that we focus on the nutrition as far as the meal is concerned. And then we've also had programs from Dr. Dam on food and nutrition program. Then on our fourth pillar, we've implemented, I think, successfully the provisioning of tractors, gardening tools and implements. The 120 job opportunities were created through our ECDs, through our CNDCs, scholar patrol and food handlers in the housing construction. And then the last pillar on basic services and assets, we've, I think, worth to note our Lutulini Early Childhood Development Center that is supported by Mbizana local municipality, which is currently under construction. Also 486 RDP houses planned for Ward 6 in Elundini local municipality, which is also still under construction. The maintenance program on the access roads at Buffalo City Metro and Amatole, that is led by the Department of Roads and Transport. Now, also the progress that is, I think, worth highlighting is the reviewal of the strategy by the Executive Council in 2019, because it spoke to the extending of the pool of the stakeholders and resource mobilization to 72, to change the socio-economic profile of the deprived communities. This includes state and agencies, it includes NPOs in the business sector. Also, with the review came the incremental rollout of the anti-poverty strategy. From 16 anti-poverty sites that were implementing the strategy on in the previous term, they've been extended to 450 villages across the province. So the profiling is not done per ward, but rather per villages. And then to date of those 450, there are 34 municipalities that are benefiting. When we talk of food security in the strategy, we refer to food security as defined in the World Food Summit of 1996. And our focus area is on availability and adequacy of food, on accessibility of food, physical, social, and economic means to access it, on the utilization, quality, and safety of food, and the stability of food supply. Now, Eastern Cape, with its approximately 6.7 million population, and the latest Stats SA report, and 1.8 households. 60% of these households are receiving at least one social grant, and in absolute numbers, we have 1.9 people receiving grants, majoring are about 71% to young people. Out of the 1.8 households in the province, 838 households, which is about 25.4% of households in the province, experience food security as they run out of money to buy food at some point in the month. These figures do not include the impact of COVID-19. Now, when you break down the profile of the province, when you're looking at poverty level and intensity of poverty, Alfred Nzo and OR Tambo would be the highest poverty levels in the province, with 44.7 and 43.6 respectively. Then I'm not going to go to others, but it's there in the presentation. But when it comes to the intensity of the poverty level, Buffalo City Metro and Nelson Mandela are the highest, with 45.1 and 45.7. Now, this shows that the number of households living below the poverty line, while the intensity is an indicator to assess basically which of the standard of living of the poor household is under poverty line. With that, the focus of the strategy mainly is on an interdependence between the various government departments and in realizing the fight against poverty and food insecurity. We have the prevention and treatment focused interventions as led by the Department of Health. We have the food production focused intervention as led by Dr. Da and Dedet, and the social protection and safety net intervention by DSD, Social Development, and the Department of Education. On the social protection and safety net interventions by the Department of Social Development, then we have the SASSA social grant, which are unconditional cash transfers. We have the social relief of distress, which come in the form of emergency pack. It could be emergency food parcels, emergency school uniform, and school equipment, depending on the need. Also, in those interventions, we have the subsidized early childhood development. We have the intervention on malnutrition and child hunger. We have the household food programs and the CNDCs. We have the victim empowerment program. We have the skills development program, mainly for youth and women. And the progress on the implementation of the cash transfers strategy on the child support grant, we have 342,425 children with 177,749 caregivers that are benefiting in the province. That speaks to about 142,899,000. Then we have the old age grant benefiting 71,393. The permanent disability grant that benefits 43,467. The foster care grant benefiting 370. And we have the war veteran grants only with one beneficiary in the province. And we have the care dependency grant that benefits 5,950. And the grant in aid, which benefits 16,866. Now, obviously, it's noting that the COVID-19 grants that were introduced by the president, benefiting in the province about 8,731 people in the province. On social relief of distress as SRD, is a temporary provisioning of assistance intended for a person in such a dire material need that they are unable to meet their or their family's most basic needs. In the main, the provision of social relief of distress has been in the form of food parcels to households. With COVID-19, the Department of Social Development, together with private donors, have distributed a total of 44,523 food parcels to destitute households from a budget of 50 million rands. Going forward, the province has received additional 78 million that has been set aside to provide social relief of distress to poor households. Now, in addition to SRD, we have 33 community nutrition and development centers that were established throughout the province, and these benefit more than 6,000 people annually. Social development has invested more than 80 million over the 5 years to support the CNDCs. In addition, jobs for 165 cooks were created throughout these CNDCs. On our ECD program, the The provincial integrated anti-poverty strategy recognizes that investment in human capital as a key pillar and further adopted the ECD as a key intervention in this regard. Therefore, ECD seeks to intervene and reverse the effects of early deprivation and maximize the development of children's potential at an early phase, which can further contribute to breaking the cycle of poverty. As part of promoting food security, we have implemented ECD programs that benefit over 150 children since financial year 15 and 16. In addition, the ECD centers provide regular meals to all children who attend. This is in addition to the stimulation. DSD has spent approximately 800 million on ECDs. A portion of this went into creating more than 15,000 jobs for more than 15,000 ECD practitioners. The Department of Social Development, in partnership with the Department of Health, is championing the implementation of a coordinated multi-sector program to address infant mortality, malnutrition, child poverty in parts of OR Tambo and Alfonso districts. This program is aimed at empowering women with children under the ages of 5 years. Recent statistics and reports from the Department of Health indicate that the incidences of child mortality linked to child malnutrition is increasing. This situation then warranted an urgent intervention by the provincial government, private sector and civil society organizations and communities. Now, the piloting of this program was as pronounced in our policy speech for financial year 1920. The progress to date on the food and nutrition security program, where we are working with the Department of Health, with SASAM and Zemani Consultants and Boardwalk and Dr. Dam, we've been able to provide supplement to expected mothers and affected babies, provide food parcels to families of targeted beneficiaries for a period of 6 consecutive months. We facilitated the sourcing of a food supplement called Pytho Blend from an international NGO called M5M to boost the nutrition status of the children affected by malnutrition. The supplement will benefit 1,500 children from age 1 year. Donated food parcels to benefits during the launch was in July 2019. 24 beneficiaries in the Nguza local municipality and the Port St. John's local municipalities benefited from the National Food Relief Program by Dr. Dam. And further, Dr. Dam provides training to the women on the program. And further, they will be assisted to start their own household food gardens and with all the necessary equipment. And then on our skills training and capacity building, where we are working with HWCTA, the Department of Health, and again, Dr. Dam, an integrated skills development training program has been developed, which includes focusing on health and hygiene, breastfeeding, food preparation, and nutrition awareness, vegetable production, advocacy on women's rights and parenting, etc. Also, with HWCTA, we have an induction workshop conducted with the appointed change agents through our EPWP program. Further, mothers are trained on how to examine their children on weights according to the Department of Health to measure growth. Skills audit of the targeted women were conducted mainly in the Dabankulu local municipality, in Nguza, Port St. John's. This was finalized in November 2019, and about 30 women have been trained up to date on food preparation. On our income and entrepreneurship development, affected women were appointed as change agents and are receiving a monthly stipend of 2,046 as part of the EPWP beneficiaries. They've been encouraged to start saving clubs, your stokvels, with 200 rands a month from their stipends. and these they've been receiving through EPWP. On our adolescent sexual reproductive health and rights, where we're working with the Department of Education, UNFPA, and of course the Department of Health. Sexual and reproductive health and rights lessons focusing on teenage mothers are given by the Department of Health. Life orientation and lessons are provided through the Department of Education. Then a launch of SRH&R program in partnership with UNFPA and the Government of Canada, which is funding the program, which speaks to education on female and adolescents and reproductive rights of women. That program has been implemented since the 28th of November 2019 in Alfred Nzom. Then I think the next slide speaks to the growth in the household food security programs, which includes our food gardens, the CNDCs, and linking cooperatives with opportunities. That from about 7,000 in 2015-16 financial year to just about 10,000 in 2018-19 financial year. So there's been a steady increase in households accessing food, and also there's been an increase in expenditure per household on accessing food. I'm not sure, I think the presentation though will be made available. Okay. Also, the Department of Social Development, only on the Department of Social Development, there have been over 20,000 EPWP work opportunities created, where the participant receives the monthly stipends, with over 20 million spent thus far on this program since its inception. Then lastly, I am going to use one area as we're going to conclusion as an example of the implementation or the compendium of the services in one area. I'm going to use Cliplat because of the recent media reports and also understanding the poverty level, and that Cliplat is one of the poverty sites in the area. For those who don't know, Cliplat is a small town just outside Port Elizabeth, about in Beyers-Nudier local municipality, around Aberdeen. It's about 180 or so kilometers from Port Elizabeth. It is fairly a rural town. It's in Ward 10 in the Beyers-Nudier local municipality, and this ward is one of the poorest wards in the province. It is, has low population density, high poverty level, excessive bulk water constraints, and all those things. Now, in the area, with all the demographics of the area, with the dependency rate of about 61.4, and people older than 20 years with no schooling sitting at 15.4%. The Department of Social Development has, through the strategy, implemented and established a CNDC in the area, which is funded for 240 people, but it actually a day it services 469 people before the closure due to COVID-19. And it's further going to be funded in this financial year, which is 2020-2019. There's a tunnel project that has been implemented in the area with the private sector in order to ensure that there are entry-level jobs for the community. We are supporting a Quleni women sewing cooperative, the Fresh and Delicious Age Production Project there that is led by the young people in the area. There's the Hope Family Preservation Organization that we are funding through our program TOOM. There's a CCMBA Educare Center, which is your Early Childhood Development Center. There is a Siapambili Disability Forum, a Nomzamo Service Center for older persons, Clipart Victim Support Center, and the Tembale Sizwe Community Center. Now, all these programs are implemented in that area with an intention of at least increasing the number of households that wherein we relieve distress caused by non-availability of food. Now, in the period of COVID-19, 312 food parcels were distributed through our CNDCs in the first week of May, when the CNDC closed down under the lockdown regulation. And then through the SRD eligibility tool, further food parcels were distributed. I know the last batch was in August, and was in August 2020, and the area again is said to be benefiting in this week's distribution of social relief of distress. Now, despite the challenges experienced by poor households during the COVID-19 pandemic, we still believe that the Provincial Integrated Anti-Poverty Strategy is one of the key instruments that has been adopted by government, and that will bring a solution and address the shortage, it will address poverty, it will address the shortage of food. And as it has since been reviewed, and will be launching the reviewed strategy in the month of October with the premiere in Ngobo. And I think details of those will be made available to you all. Thank you very much for your time. I think that's the end for me.
Thank you, MEC Manilusiti. There is a request that umdo driver Range Rover omisa ngaphandle uvale indlela. I don't know between the two drivers who just walked in. We are now going to request the we're going to request the MEC for Dr. Da to make the input from the department. Thank you very much, MEC.
Thank you so much, Program Facilitator. Greetings to my colleagues, the MECs, MEC of Social Development, Human Settlements and Health, our administrative leadership present here, led by the HODs and DG if he is around, the people of our province viewing from both mainstream media and social media, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Our department adopted an impact statement for the 6th administration that says we want to see a sustainable agriculture sector that drives food security, agro-processing, and contributes to industrialization, rural development, and wealth creation. We agreed on this impact statement working with our partners in the sector. Poverty is an inability of individuals, households, and communities to command sufficient resources to satisfy socially acceptable minimum standard of living. It is more than merely income insufficiency. It includes lack of opportunity, lack of access to assets, as well as social exclusion. Dr. Da addresses our provincial integrated anti-poverty strategy pillars through ensuring that there is improved access to food and nutrition security, we're talking to household food production and veterinary services for food safety. Again, we are ensuring that there is water through spring water protection and dam scooping for both our citizens and animals. Increased generation of income, that is commercialization of grain, vegetable, fruit, poultry, wool, and red meat production. Access to education and training, in particular targeting youth development programs. Allow me to share the statistics, in particular about the top 10 poorest municipalities with the total number of households in our province. Tabankulu with 26,194, Port St. John's 33,952, Muza Hill 60,973, Engcobo 33,156, Umzimvubu 51,530, Mpashe 58,727, Bizana 61,383, Elundini 35,804, Insikayetu 35,851, and Matatiel with 56,856. Of the top poorest municipalities by child-headed households, Engcobo local municipality had the highest percentage of 4.9, followed by Matatiel local municipality with 4.3, and Mpashe local municipality with 4.2. Continued stats on provincial multidimensional poverty by Stats SA. Eastern Cape has the second largest proportion at 78.8% of children living with multidimensional poverty, after Limpopo, which is number 1 in the country, at 82.8%. Of the kids growing in poor households, it is likely that they are experiencing more than 3 dimensions of poverty, which are nutrition, education, water and sanitation. Additional to those, it's information, housing, health and protection. Nutritional deprivation of children of all ages in the Eastern Cape is highest, ranging at 45.9% to 54.1%. Allow me to get to our programs on food and nutrition security. We've got a program we call Household Food Security, Siyazondla. The main program that seeks to address food production at household level, targeting to support households with production inputs. These include vegetable and chicken. The program has been funded with 40 million, and it is targeting 20,000 households with 3,000 in Alfrenzo, 4,000 in Amatole, Krisani, 4,000, Jokabe, 3,000, Oartambo, 4,000, and Sarah Batman, 2,000. On food security, through veterinary services, food safety is guaranteed in the following: annual abattoir registration targeting 95 facilities, meat inspection and hygiene assessment of the registered abattoirs, control of diseases that are transmittable between animals and human beings, that is TB, brucellosis and anthrax, targeting 1.1 million communal cattle, certification of dairy heads supplying milk to processors, Sandale, Clover, Kocha Dairy, Creekly, First Choice Dairy, etc. Monitoring food of animal origin, that is the processing establishment. Our department invested 52 million in ensuring food safety through implementation of the above programs. All abattoirs have been registered and regular meat and hygiene have been conducted. A total of 756,937 animals have been vaccinated against zoonotic disease. On commercialization of grain production is a staple food for the majority of our rural communities. In 2020-2021 production season, We are targeting to cover 28,116 hectares of grain, focusing in the high potential areas, that is Afrenzo, that's 6,670 hectares, Amatole, 6,218 hectares, Krisani, 6,369 hectares, Jogabi, 2,189 hectares, and Ortambo, 6,607 hectares. For this intervention, the department is investing 94 million to provide production inputs and mechanization. Grain production is done with partnership with industry partners, Jifata, Whiphold, Kanyo Farmer Development, Grain SA, Dalasile Agri-Park, and Matatiel Grain Co. All inputs will be awarded to the successful bidders for delivery that will be starting in October and will be completed in November this year. On vegetable production, vegetable is widely produced in the irrigated areas of the province. In this financial year, production season is targeting to cover 1,471 hectares of grain, of vegetable, focusing in the high potential areas. Amatole, 280 hectares, Krisani, 531 hectares, Jogabi, 123 hectares, Oatambo, 347 hectares, and Sarabartman, 190 hectares. For this intervention, the department is investing 15 million to provide production inputs and mechanization. The department is in the process of procuring production inputs, and delivery is expected to start next month, that is October. We've got medium to long-term plan to increase production in irrigation scheme to trigger agricultural recovery because of the pandemic. And we are targeting Krisani, Ngoga, 3,000 hectares, and the infrastructure is worth 252 million. Production cost is 75 million. In Krisani Kamata, 2,800 hectares, and the infrastructure budget needed is 87 million, and production cost is 57.5 million. Krisani Eshailo is 490 hectares, infrastructure budget needed is 40.5 million, and production cost is 3.7 million. At Krisani Pilaike, it's 700 hectares, and the infrastructure budget needed is 44.5 million, production cost is 17.5 million. At Amatole Kiskamauk, it's 700 hectares with the budget of 10 million and 3.7 million for production cost. Amatole Ezanyokwe irrigation scheme, 450 hectares, and infrastructure budget is 11.1 million and production cost is 5 million. At Amatole Kefu, we're covering 750 hectares. The budget is 34 million for infrastructure and 18.7 million for production cost. Noah Tambo Port St. John's, 395 hectares, 21 million infrastructure budget and 9.8 production cost. Or Tambo Lambasi, 1.5 thousand hectares, and we are looking at 236 million budget and 37.5 million budget. In total, we'll be covering 10.785 hectares with a budget for infrastructure equaling to 736 million and 228 million for production input. A total number of jobs, sustainable jobs, to be created is 3,406. And the business plan has been prepared in partnership with the commodities for funding purposes. On livestock development, the province is developing livestock working with National Agriculture Marketing Council for custom feeding program. And in 2021 financial year, we will be supporting 15 custom feeding centers, 1 in Alfrenzo, 2 at Matole, 7 in Krisani, 2 in Jogabi, 3 in OR Tambo. For this intervention, the department is investing 7 million to provide feed production. A total of 158 cattle were sold in both informal and formal market, generating a total revenue of 1.5 million for livestock farmers. 69 cattle exported to Mauritius, generating 675,000 rand. Ngange Grill is the only feedlot that has small stock, that is sheep. It sold 56 sheep with a total revenue of 70,000. On improvement of income generation, We've got a program that we are doing, which we are saying is a livestock exports program to the Middle East. The first shipment happened in October 2019 with 56,000 animals on board. 4,410 of those animals, sheep, were from smallholder farmers to the value of 5.4 million. The second shipment happened in March 2020 with the 58.6 animals on board, and 11.606 sheep were from smallholder farmers to the value of 12.8 million. The third shipment happened on the 3rd of September, and 50,310 sheep and 650 cattle on board. 11,068 of those sheep were from smallholder to the value of 18 million. This generated a total value for our province of 387 million foreign revenue. Again, on the improvement of income generation, as we continue, we've got a program that looks at the improvement of the livestock delivery. The department has supported 116 smallholder farmers with 84 bulls and 377 heifers across the province. We supported farmers with 15 heifers and 1 bull each, with young farmers receiving 20 heifers and 1 bull each. Delivery of genetical superior will continue this year for bulls and heifers, and it will be commencing soon. A total of 93,600,000 has been set aside to support farmers on wool, genetic improvement, custom feeding, animal health, poultry and piggery projects. This initiative is expected to create 677 jobs in our province. On horticulture development, the province is one of the major fruit producers in the country, producing citrus at 25% and deciduous at 9%. Currently, the department is supporting black citrus farmers to increase production by 445 hectares in Amatole and Sarabatman. This expansion will create 756 new jobs for the communities in the surrounding communities of these districts. The department is working with Citrus Growers Association to assist farmers to secure more funding, in particular from the Jobs Fund. The deciduous fruit expansion is a new area of the province focusing in Gubenga Valley, totaling 450 hectares that would be developed under apple production, and 764 jobs will be created. On job creation programs, the department's infrastructure implementation program through Community Works program, in this year a total of 1,762 jobs will be created. To date, the total of 90 people have been employed. Through natural resource rehabilitation programs, a total of 176 green jobs will be created. To mitigate the rampant stock theft in the province will be employing 1,000 community branding personnel. Again, in support of our provincial integrated anti-poverty strategy, we are currently implementing the following programs. 71 boreholes will be drilled this financial year, 216 dams will be scooped, 10 deep tanks will be renovated, 9 animal handling facilities will be built, 530 kilometers of fencing, 7 stock water systems. Infrastructure development is mainly done by or through EPWP initiatives that will create 1,762 jobs, as I mentioned earlier. On access to education and training, NARISEC program by DART through the NARISEC program mobilized 203 young people which were supported under the COVID-19 smallholder farmer support program and were provided with agricultural inputs. Internships and learnerships, the department has taken through capacity building of youth on following categories. Internships are targeting 70 young people, bursaries 22, learnerships 30. On the graduate placement program, a total of 114 unemployed graduates have been placed in various commercial farms and cooperatives in order to afford them an opportunity to gain hands-on farm experience. On colleges, a total of 578 students were enrolled in Fort Cox, Ntsolo Agriculture and Rural Development Institute, with 126 graduating at both colleges. Agribusiness support targeting 75 youths. The department is working with 120 schools in agricultural programs to attract youth. Under water and sanitation, we've got a program on spring spring water protection, The department implements the spring water protection to improve access for rural communities to water. The department seeks to drive the spring water production and protection as the government-wide program. That will be led by us and will be working with COGTA and the municipalities, in particular the water services authorities. We are happy that our cabinet committee did endorse that and is going now for EXCO's approval. And the following are the projects that we did or will be doing this financial year. Lupapasi Village in Ward 15, Emalahleni, Krisani, Elaleni, Ward 6, Emalahleni, Krisani, Nkungwini, Mpungutyana communities, Ward 9, Umzimvubu, Arfenzo, Gudintaba, Ward 11, Umzimvubu, Arfenzo, Hackney, Ward 22, Inokumkijima, Krisani, and Makadla, Ward 12, Sengu, Ejokabi. On red hubs and mechanization centers, in promoting rural agro-processing initiatives, the department is operationalizing 5 red hubs in KSD, Ngocha, Mbizana, Emalahleni, and Chapo. The facilities are being reconfigured to serve as demand aggregation centers for smallholder and communal producers. In support of cropping for smallholder and communal producers, the department is initiating 2 commercial mechanization centers at KSD and Elundini. We are providing them with machinery to make sure that our farmers have access to affordable machinery for their food production. As a parting shot, let me share with you a program facilitator that the COVID-19 outbreak has had major effects on economic performance, social and health systems globally. According to Q1 economic review of the Eastern Cape by ECPG, the South African economy remains in recession after GDP contracted by -2% in 2020 Q1. In the Eastern Cape, the following industries expanded on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Agriculture, which is the largest, it increased up by 27.1%, followed by finance up by 3%, transport by 1.1%, and government services up by 0.7%. Similarly, the Eastern Cape GDP contracted by -0.8 in 2020 in Q1. 5 industries that contracted are mining down by -23.9%, manufacturing down by 8.6%, construction down by 5.0%, electricity down by 4.0%, and trade down by 1.3%. Results show the loss of business, loss of jobs, increased poverty, increase in crime, etc. We are sharing this just to show that at least the strides that we are putting in place, working with our stakeholders as the department and the sector at large, are showing, because if everything is going down, but at least in Q1 we managed to increase, it shows that this impact that we are trying to see, it is showing, and we appreciate the support that we are getting from our farmers and the work that we continue to do with other departments of our government in ensuring that we address the issue of the poverty in our province using our strategy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MEC Math, for that information. We are now going to request MEC Peters from Human Settlements to talk about the role of her department in providing support to the people of our province with regards to human settlements. MEC.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Program Director, Mr. Stresha, my colleagues, all officials that are here, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank you for affording the department this opportunity to present our programs. how are we contributing towards the eradication of poverty in our country and also in our province in particular. Whilst as a department we acknowledge our priorities, we have decided to focus on the following priorities due to the declining fiscus. We are going to focus on upscaling of housing opportunities with special focus on prioritization of destitute, vulnerable groups and military veterans. And we are going to systematically unblock all the historically blocked projects. And we are going to accelerate the registration and issuing of title deeds to homeowners. And we're also going to increase opportunities to SMMEs, including women and youth, and also upgrade informal settlements and provision of social and economic amenities in our municipalities. And we'll continuously do application of innovative and sustainable building technologies as the department, but we are also focusing on people that have abilities and child-headed homes. Our priorities over the term is to deliver quality homes to the identified needy beneficiaries. Whilst we have confirmed the total number of approved beneficiaries in the housing beneficiary system, which is over 70,000, their socio and economic status is currently being confirmed, as we want to clean the system completely so that we identify and deliver services to the most needy, as we've indicated above. That is our focus. As the department in this financial year, we are targeting to provide 7,172 housing opportunities and 3,760 service sites across regions. We are also determined to deliver 240 housing opportunities to military veterans at a cost of 47 million. As the department, we are faced with a challenge of 156 historically blocked projects, which consist of 48,961 units at a total cost of 4.5 billion. In this financial year, we are going to spend 198 million to unblock 1,121 units in 84 projects. These projects belong to the poorest of the poor, and we are planning as the department to not to have many new projects, but to complete the blocked projects in the coming years. And also in addition, as the department, we are doing work through remedial works program, which was known as rectification. We are busy rectifying 1,217 units out of 1,217 units that we'll be doing in this financial year. It's 135 in OR Tambo, 118 in Amatole, 160 in BCM, 468 in Nelson Mandela, and 142 in Sarah Bartman, and 194 in Krisani, at a value of 171 million. Program Director must indicate that the department has ring-fenced 30% spending of the construction budget allocation for women and youth contractors, which amounts to 440 million. We are also implementing 30% subcontracting of local-based SMMEs, including people living with disabilities and military veterans, for all projects over 30 million, in line with the requirements of the Preferential Procurement Framework Regulations of 2017. And also as the department, we are assisting 88 SMMEs. We are supporting them through training and work opportunities. Ngolo hlobo ke sihlalo sigxotha indlala. And also as the department, we are training young people in the department, and we are creating jobs for when we are building houses for local people. And as the department, we have over 568 informal settlements in our towns and cities. And we know how informal settlements have been affected by this COVID-19. And we are busy in this financial year in upgrading 115 informal settlements, and we have ring-fenced 270 million for that. And these informal settlements that will be upgrading as the department are in 6 regions, with the exclusion of the 2 metros, because the 2 metros, they are using USDG to upgrade informal settlements. We are having 2 in Bizana under Alfred Nzo, informal settlements, and we are going to spend 9.1 million. And in Mzimvubu, we've got 2 informal settlements, and we are going to spend 13 million. In Amatole, under Amatole, in Amashati, there are 4 informal settlements at a value of 20 million. In Great Kai, we've got 4 at a value of 17 million. In Bashe, it's 3 at a value of 3.8 million. And Numa, it's 4 informal settlements at a value of 11.4 million. And Raymond Mshaba, it's 11 at a value of 25.3 million. Under Krisani, we are going to focus in 3 municipalities, that is in Singayetu, 5 informal settlements at a value of 12 million. In Ngobo, it's 5 informal settlements at a value of 13.7 million. And Enoch Mkijima, it's 9 at a value of 24 million. Under Joe Qabi, we'll be focusing in 3 municipalities. Elundini, it's 1 informal settlement at a value of 5 million. Semu, it's 6 at a value of 4.5 million. And Walter Sisulu, it's 3 at a value of 4.8 million. Under OR Tambo, we'll be focusing on 4 municipalities. In Muza Hill, it's 4 informal settlements at a value of 22.7 million. And King Sabata Talingebo, it's 8 informal settlements at a value of 25.5 million. And in Nyandini, it's 4 informal settlements at a value of 12.7 million. And Port St. John's, it's 4 at a value of 8 million. Under Sarah Bartman district, it's Blue Crane Road municipality, it's 4 at 1.8 million. Koukha municipality, it's 9, it's 18 million. Koukama, it's 8 informal settlements at a value of 4.7 million. And Dlambe, it's 7 at a value of 9.1 million. And Sandys River Valley municipality, it's 8 at a value of 2.7 million. As the department, we are participating fully in the implementation of anti-poverty strategy in all the identified 39 sites led by the Department of Social Development. We are already implementing housing projects, working with the people of those communities within those sites. For an example, in Amatole District Municipality and Mpashe Local Municipality, we are implementing Nkanga. We are building there 50 units at a cost of 9.5 million. And a contractor is currently on site. And in Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality, we are doing that at Nisa. It's 200 units at a value of 27 million. These are but some of the few examples of projects that we are implementing in these sites, and we ensure local economic development at all times. Program Director, COVID-19 pandemic demands all of us as government from all spheres and other stakeholders to do something as to fight the spread of coronavirus in the province. Given the reality that in alert level 5, 4, 3, and 2 were in winter season, and that was the and this is the vicious virus that enjoys the cold. The department provided more than 650 decent houses to most vulnerable and destitute people in all districts. We will continue to provide more houses during the alert level 1 and beyond. The houses in rural areas, we provide them with water tanks and VIP toilets. And also in urban areas, there must be a water tap and a toilet. So you do have a toilet and water. And we did also provide temporary shelters in other areas in all the regions that we are operating in the province. And in this financial year, as the department will provide 4,506 houses for destitute people at a total cost of 630 million. It is also important to note that government provides houses to beneficiaries as they are after completion. However, some businesses and people do support us by providing furniture. We don't provide houses with furniture. We just give a house. And there are business people that assist us and provide furniture to the vulnerable groups. And that is what we have done in some of the houses that we have handed over during this period of COVID-19. And we are also thankful to them for their selfless sacrifices. Sithi makwande apho bathatha khona ngoba ukwanda kwaliwa ngumthakathi. In circumstances where the situation is unbearable, I've already said that we have provided temporary shelters. At the end, we have to provide a permanent solution, but temporarily we give them temporary shelters. In conclusion, Program Director, as the department, we do play a role in this, in the DDM in all districts, because our regional offices are planning with all district municipalities and local municipalities, so that whatever that we do as the province is owned and known by all municipalities, starting from the district to all their local municipalities. And without doubt, the Program Director, DDM, is going to assist a lot in the eradication of poverty in all our communities. I thank you.
Thank you, MEC Peters. We are now going to invite Mrs. Masindi to talk about the role of her department and also the update on COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Squesha. Morning, colleagues, our officials and media at large. Today is yet another day. And as we embark on the weekly media COVID-19 update, last time, and that was last week, we reported that we have 102 cases in Burgerstop in the area of Jogabi. And today, I'm happy to announce that all those 102 have purely and clinically recovered. However, the fires have spread to other schools in the area. In Burgerstop cases, we have the following schools that have now caught up again. Umzimkhulu Primary School, Maripeng, Eureka, Mpumelelo, Mfundisi Primary School. And COVID-19 in these schools, much as they are in Jogabi, but they are still within the precinct of the last school in Middleburg. Ekuphumleni, we've got 60 learners and 1 positive teacher. Medelande War School, we've got 29 positive learners and 1 positive teacher. Nonyaniso Primary School, we have got 15 positive learners. St. Boniface, we have got 1 positive learner. Grootfontein Agricultural School, we've got 6 positive learners. We move them to Craddock because those are the whole kind of same belt. We've got Carinas Primary School, where we have 1 positive teacher, and we are now currently testing learners and teachers. And there are further positive cases in other schools that are in the Alwal North, such as Malitswai Primary School, Malcolmus High School, and Valamazibuko Primary School. And in Stegspruit, we are looking at Stakespruit Senior Secondary School. Because of these fires and the spread that has taken place in the area, we now are worried about the cases in Free State, in the prison, Yasehude Mut. But our concern there is the inter-provincial traveling and the chores that people cross the river to do, both in Alwal, whether staying or shopping. But we're dealing now with arrangements to test the whole prison precinct, as this, we feel, is not going to only affect Free State. We also reported that 26 learners and 25 community members in Middelburg last time were also confirming that all those have already actually recovered. Sadly though, we've lost one educator and one community member who unfortunately succumbed to the pandemic. We currently in all have 192 cases in Middelburg. Ekupumleni, we have 60 active cases. I think that for me concludes the update in terms of where we were last week. And touching a little bit on the issue of the integrated nutrition program, as the department, we will all realize that we've got patients both in and outpatients in our facilities, and that for us becomes a great challenge. And over the years, Eastern Cape has struggled to contain malnutrition, and that among the young children under the age of 5 years. And that has resulted in many of those children being lost to malnutrition. But strategic interventions and close monitoring of districts, in particular OR Tambo, which previously has been a hotspot, hence you will see the importance of the piloting of the DDM in OR Tambo and its critical nature. But equally to this, we believe as the Department of Health that community participation and capacity building is central to the prevention of malnutrition. At the same time, we want to impress that malnutrition in its nature is a multi-stakeholder collaboration to overcome the scourge. Let us not forget that whilst we're dealing with COVID, we're dealing with malnutrition. We have conditions such as HIV and AIDS and TB that require nutritional supplementation, and that is due to their clinical complications that the patients or clients, as we call them, are experiencing. I want to conclude, as I want to believe my colleagues have touched almost all the areas that we're dealing with in terms of malnutrition as the departments. But however, I want to conclude in that area is to say there's a dire need for intervention at every level, from community to health facilities, and that is mainly to address the issues contributing to the malnutrition deaths, which is worrisome to us. But at the heart of all these issues is the whole issue of HIV. Remember, on the other side, we've got 90-90-90. But as we get our people to actually take up testing, we are concerned that before they can be cured, as you give them treatment, they must be having food as the base, and that then would be assisting them. We're also concerned as the Department of Health with a lot of unplanned pregnancies that are everywhere, that are worrying us. But also that is coupled with the massive numbers that we are experiencing of low birth weight infants. I wanted to stop there in terms of that because I want to believe as the Department of Health, we can deal with any other issues that will be required from us on the issue of malnutrition over and above what have been covered by our my colleagues as the other departments. I want now to deal on the issue that we are having our SG departing at the end of this month. Premier Mabuyana has appointed Dr. Sibongile Zungu to Okay, thank you about that. Premier Mabuyana has appointed Dr. Sibongile Zungu as the acting head of the Provincial Department of Health to hold the fort from the 1st October when Dr. Mbengashe leaves the department. And that acting appointment is for a period of 3 months, precisely because some of you have seen the advert already, and during which time we will fill the vacancy. And that will do through normal recruitment processes. As you would know by now, Dr. Zungu is already in the province on a secondment from the National Department of Health. And she's also being appointed to act in this position for the period I've mentioned. And that acting appointment is still made through the secondment. And the new HOD for the provincial department shall be appointment, as I've mentioned. Let me go back to Dr. Zungu. She has been in the province working with us through the project management unit at the Department of Health. Through the work of that team, together with the leadership of the department, we managed to make successful progress in the Department of Health with regards to our response to COVID-19, as she has been the program unit manager or head or leader. The information we have is that Dr. Zungu has not been charged by the NPA. She is not being investigated by the police or any division of the South African Police Service. We know nothing about the allegations being pushed by some individuals, and when those allegations are brought to us properly, we will look into them at that point. It is unfair to raise these matters at the time when we are asking her to act in this position, because this information was not raised all along, that she has been crisscrossing this province and assisting us on COVID-19. And when they conducted an assessment of the Department of Health facilities, she's now in a meeting. She's still doing the work of COVID in this province. And from that, we believe we have produced the best report that helps this province to attend to matters as raised with urgency. We encourage, therefore, the management, both in the department and in the province, our employees, our unions, and stakeholders of the Department of Health to work with her during this 3 months period. I thank you.
Thank you, MEC Gomba, and thanks to all MECs. We are now going to take questions from the media. You are free to ask your questions to any of our MECs. Okay. You might not have especially one-on-one, so speak now or forever hold your peace. Going once, going twice, sold. Okay, thank you very much. We have come to the end of our media briefing, and thank you for coming.